Very, very good morning from Finland. It's here 3:34 a.m. and I am at the same time especially welcoming the European people because it's early morning for us. So we have a wonderful moment for us because it's going to be the full moon in Aries very soon, about 1 hour and something like 1.5 hours from now. And the energy of beginning. We have the glyph, which is interesting when we look at that. It is something which is either ending or starting in one point, but then it is divided in two. And that means that Aries is the dual sign in one sense. There are very great differences. And if we are not able to respond to the mental energy, then we are in these two worlds. Well, of course, when we think about the lower mental, it is about two, but when we think about the higher mental, we are already in the area of when we can say that the things are coming together. Through Aries, we have two energies, the first ray and the seventh ray pouring. And that's why Aries is the sign which is having these two great poles within itself. The will and power, and then the magic and order. It's a sign which is manifesting, and we will study about that really soon. So also the key words, key idea in Aries is I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. As we can recognize from that, Aries energy is centering things into the head, and that's why in the beginning many Aries people, they continuously injure their heads. Luckily in the later on it's going to be ceased, and the head is not so much in danger anymore. So in Aries we have the light, which is beautiful. It's the light of life itself. And think about that when we think about the light in Pisces is the light of the world. It is the light revealing the light of life itself. And now in Aries it is the light of life itself. This is the dim point of light found at the center of the cycle of manifestation, faint and flickering. Let us read that again. It is the dim point of light found at the center of the cycle of manifestation, faint and flickering. It is the searchlight of the Logos, seeking that which can be used for divine expression. Let us contemplate that. searchlight of the Logos, seeking that which can be used for divine expression. In Aries we have this impulse, very high impulse. When we start to respond to that in the beginning, it's very hard for Aries to be interested in the spiritual life at all. So then, let us think about this interesting thing in Aries, which is to note how it was that the energy is playing upon our planet when the sun was in Aries, the ram, producing in religious symbology the emphasis of the goat or ram. Aries takes us into beginnings. We have seen that Aries is the sign of beginnings, the beginning of the creative process. The first step of the soul, the microcosm of the already initiated macrocosm towards incarnation. The beginning of recurring and constant cycles of experience. The beginning of the period wherein the soul changes its direction, its purpose and its method in Leo. And finally enters upon that definitely defined process which we call spiritual regeneration and initiation in Capricorn. And we see this the cardinal cross. The cardinal cross upon which we step when we have the energy of Aries. And of course, when we think about this high cross, it's the cross of the Father, that we do not step into it on real sense. But of course, when we have that energy, we step in that which is happening behind the scenes. It's the impulses from the monad and taking us to the great evolution of the spirit. You will note that the rays which are related to or expressing themselves through Aries are curiously balanced. Ray 1 and 7 are the highest and the lowest, and therefore demand a point of balance upon the wheel which is provided in Libra. So Aries and Libra are like those poles which are creating one whole. As Tibetan says that we should always consider the opposing sign together with the other sign, because they are the ones which are revealing that real sign, and in that sense we have 6 real signs, even though it is divided now because we are living the dualistic life. That's why we have the 12. Through Uranus, Aries is related to Aquarius. The vague beginnings in Aries, the faint emergence of the latent embodied ideas, have after the turning of the wheel in 2 directions, brought release in Capricorn and produced the world server in Aquarius. Just think about where you have Aries in your horoscope, in your chart, if you know your chart. And where is Libra? This is the axis, what we can say that there is the axis of friendship. In both signs, in Aries and in Libra, Hercules is failing, and in both signs he is causing death to his friend. And then when the sun is in any of the signs, it also activates the whole cross. Just reflect where you have the cross, cardinal cross, in your chart. It is said that upon the cardinal cross the purpose and the unified consummation of the two earlier crucifixions become almost blindingly apparent, and a vision of the unified intent of the three persons of the underlying Trinity, each upon his own cross, emerges with clarity. The cardinal cross is the cross of the Father, the first aspect of the sacred Trinity, who sent forth the Holy Spirit, the breath, because the mind of God visioned a destiny for matter, which had been long in coming. Now that the time was at hand, the Son fulfilled the law in cooperation with the Holy Spirit, and this in response to the fiat of the Father. Let us align with the as high point as possible, aligning with our highest aspect, the monad. And we try to hold that alignment. And the crosses are the means how soul is working. We are always, when we are in incarnation, and of course on the other side as well, we are under great plan or purpose. And in the cardinal cross, it is a high spiritual purpose which is difficult to understand, because we talk in so expansive arc of time. In one sense, when you think about your horoscope, the first house is related to Aries, and that's why we have always the Aries influence via the house, the first house. And if someone has Aries rising, it is really very powerful Aries energy of the beginning. And let us reflect, what do you think, what kind of, what type of beginning it is in question in your life? Sun is now in the second decanate in Aries, and then Moon, of course, is in the second decanate of Libra. Sun is exalted in Aries. Here the Sun stands for the light, life of the spirit, which comes to full expression as the result of the great evolutionary process initiated in Aries. The life of God, which in this sign is swung into activity, eventually achieves consummation. Latency becomes potency, and midnight merges into midday. God the Father rules. So we will go now into the astrology, and just thinking about this moment, Walter will tell us very soon some insights, but let us look now about Aries and the Sun, which is in the second decanate, and then the Moon is opposing. Of course, when we have the full moon, then father and the mother are in that marriage position, how they reflect each other. It is one of those alchemical moments. But then we look the rulers. So Mars is the exoteric ruler and is in now the third decanate of Pisces, in the decanate of King, or the constellation King. Cepheus is behind that decanate, and that's why it's bringing the impulse of the coming one. Then we have Mercury is the esoteric ruler, which is also in Pisces, and now is in the behind it comes the energy of the Queen, chained Queen, and that's why could be considered that it is somewhat like the matter is reflecting a lot of about how the matter is uplifted, and then we have the hierarchical ruler Uranus in the sign of Taurus, again the last decanate, and we find Orion behind it, and that is a sacred place. And actually, do you remember that we were talking, I think last month, there is this contact now with the Algol. I think it is 27 degrees or something like that, Algol, and we have the dilemma between the forces of light. Think about Taurus, which is all about this fight over the evil forces and the forces of light. In some sense, the highest ruler is in the point of deep war, this kind of fundamental war, what is fought here down the earth when we are in incarnation between these two forces. And we can take the forces in Taurus towards the uplifted states of enlightenment. But it is a heavy thing because we have those deep tests in Taurus. But let us now invite Walter. And Walter, you can guide us into these mysteries of astrology.
Yes, so I can say a few things.
Great.
Let me share my screen. And so, yes, so the first thing I'd like to say is happy April Fool's Day, everyone, because it's still April 1st in much of the world. And some say April Fool's Day is called so because the new year used to begin at the start of April instead of the start of January. And so that meant the new year was at the start of Aries instead of the start of Capricorn. So either way, that means the Aries equinox and the Aries full moon is like a celestial new year. And so happy new year, everyone. And of course, the Aries full moon, of course, also aligns with Easter. And this is the first of the three great full moon festivals. The others coming up being Waisak at the full moon in Taurus and Christ's festival in Gemini. So yes, here is the full moon. Here's the astrology chart for the Aries full moon. And it shows all aspects, the most precise aspects at this time that are within a 2-degree orb. And it features the sun in Aries opposite the moon in Libra. And of course, all full moons have the sun exactly opposite the moon. And this is a time to bring forth Aries will in directing and expressing new energies, but not just charging forth recklessly like a ram, but rather in balance, in connection with Libra's harmony, in considering our relationships with others and the hierarchy and the world. And this full moon chart features a Grand Cross aspect configuration in the 4 cardinal signs. And its 4 points are the Sun, Moon conjunct Maki Maki, Quawar, and Comet 3I Atlas. So Maki Maki is a dwarf planet and is aligned with Ray 1 and directing our will. Quawar, that is Maki Maki, and Quawar is a dwarf planet aligned with Ray 7 and building a new world of positive group relations. An interstellar comet 3I Atlas brings in cosmic energies and insights which we can potentially connect with or be inspired by. And so altogether, this Grand Cross is about aligning with higher energies and will and expressing and manifesting them in the world. So yes, in this chart, Aries' exoteric ruler Mars is in a strong ray rulership in Pisces, since Mars is a ray 6 planet in a ray 6 sign here. And this stimulates the ray 6 forces, which of course we need to handle wisely exoterically in ourselves and in the world. Aries' exoteric ruler Mercury is well aspected, making a trine with expansive Jupiter and a sextile to Quawar. And then Aries' hierarchical ruler Uranus, it seems to be unaspected here at the end of Taurus. However, it's actually in a significant position if one looks closer. So if we include the semi-square aspect, that's 1/2 of a square, and the sesquiquadrate aspect, which is 1.5 squares, and that brings these 4 additional aspect lines. And now notice it's Uranus is aspecting all 4 points of the Grand Cross, turning the square into a pyramid. So just as Uranus is the invisible hierarchical guiding power behind Aries, so is Uranus the apex of this Grand Cross. So Aries's rays are 1 and 7, and ray 1 planet Pluto in this chart is making a long-term precise sextile with Saturn, allowing opportunity between Pluto's transformation and Saturn's discipline and groundedness. And ray 7 is also associated with Aries, since the hierarchical ruler of Aries is ray 7 planet Uranus. And interestingly, the other physical ray 1 body is Maki Maki, and the other ray 7 body is Quawar, and so it's significant and very aligned with Aries to have these 2 ray 1 and ray 7 bodies forming a grand cross with ray 1 and 7 Sun in Aries. Now, the Sabian symbol for Sun in 12 to 13 degrees Aries is An unexploded bomb reveals an unsuccessful social protest. And this can indicate Aries type conflict and struggle, but note that it's not exploding, or at least not as explosive as it could be. And the Sabian symbol for the moon in 12 to 13 degrees Libra is children blowing soap bubbles. And that suggests Libran balance and friendliness and innocence, and like blowing or projecting our intentions into the air like a little rocket ship. And speaking of rocket ships, today is historical since the Artemis 2 space mission just launched a few hours ago, and it will be flying to and around the moon. This is the first time humanity has left low Earth orbit in over 53 years. The last time was the moon landing in the year 1972. So this mission features the first woman and the first non-American to go beyond low Earth orbit, so is really a global event, and it aligns nicely with the energy of Aries going forth. And note that Artemis, the name of the mission, Artemis is the goddess of the moon, and her twin sister Apollo is the god of the sun, which is also appropriate to the Aries full moon. So yes, thank you with Aries full moon celestial blessings.
Thank you, Walter. That was really interesting, and yes, that is true about that there is this. Wow, yes, they are trying to. Oh, I should not be saying that they are trying. They are flying now to moon and behind the moon. They're going around it and be behind the on the back of the moon, or how do you say, the dark side of the moon. Um, Walter, if you can send this chart for everybody, would be nice. And was it so that the where we find the Uranus, that there it has still the contact with Algol? Was that
Yes,
the yeah,
Algol is I think like at 26 and a half degrees. Like if we bring in Algol, it's at 2631. So it's just 2 degrees away from Uranus at this time.
right, yeah. So there are very powerful energies now involved, and that is something really I didn't think about. I heard from the news that about this spaceship, and it actually left on the energies of full moon. That's so interesting, and what we have been talking about, that now for us, that's why that the if Walter, you can send the chart for everybody, because keep that. This is the
Yes.
chart for all of us. Um, Helios, they were already, Algol and Uranus were already conjuncting, like they were exact, was it 1 month ago or so? And I don't know, is Uranus retrograding back to Algol, or is it just going now?
Yeah, I can look that up. But yeah, Uranus is direct right now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, let us see that. Anyway, we know that we are in the area of human evolution, which is very, very, um, it's like on the edge of the sword, and when we think about this Aries Libra axis that we have there, where we need to make a decision. And so all of that is indicating it's not easy time for humanity and for us. It demands a lot of skills. The Aries energy in original sense is about very impulsive and very, very difficult to handle in the beginning, because we need to have mental focus, maybe not polarization completely, but anyway, we had to have gone through major tests and have somewhat control over the astral nature, that it is not affecting to this impulsive quality. When this energy, this fiery energy is controlled, then Aries people, yes, yesterday was Michael's birthday, in that incarnation that he had the last time. Uh, he is one of the Aries disciples, and it is said, we were always joking because it is said that Aries turns towards Capricorn, and as Walter was pointing out, that earlier it was the new beginning. It is the new year. It's the new spiritual new year. But for the reason that we are talking about how to uplift the lower lives and how to uplift the matter, make it sacred. So that's why we have this Capricorn energy and Capricorn quality. What is because it's the earth sign, it is helping us to do that mission, and that's why we have like the new year in Capricorn. But there are three important initial impulses in Aries. These three outstanding urges characterize this sign. There is, as we have seen, the urge to beginning. This may express itself simply as the urge to take form, to become involved in matter. And now let us think about this, that when we, as you see there, this Grand Cross, which is about the manifestation, something comes to the very physical nature, and it is the square of service. We should understand these crosses, also the square of service. We learn in that square important important lessons for us, but it is at the same time the area where we are able to do this redemptive work, the service work. That's why when you have anything as squares in your chart, don't ever look them that it is something what it should not be there, because it is exactly there because the soul has chosen it in order to fulfill its mission on earth. And this, to take the new form, reflect your thoughts now towards the future, far, far, far towards the future. This chart, what we have here, is the birth chart for that new, for all of us. And it's interesting that we have this square there. The seventh ray pouring through Aries, and we have perfect chart in that sense, and very high. If we think it could be interpreted that it is difficult, but no, it is about very spiritual chart for us. And I am again amazed that there is this messenger. If you think about the Mercury is the esoteric ruler, the messenger Gabriel is there. So we have the cosmic messenger, the AI, the Atlas, even though it's leaving the solar logos, our solar logos at the moment, merging away, but there is still this message what he was coming to bring, that avatar what is riding on that comet. As it is said, the avatars are riding on the comets and thus bringing the message for us. So there is the urge to take form, to become involved in matter. And now when we look towards the future, far, far towards the future, we are starting now that what is not written yet, how things are going to go. It may reverse the process and focus itself in the urge to achieve liberation from form. That is like the ultimate purpose, but the form has to be taken first. The emergence of the soul from the prison of the form nature. Then this urge is followed by the consequent urge to create. So the beginning and then to creation. That activity of the deity which results in the formation of worlds of expression and satisfies his desire to incarnate in a solar system and to begin the great life cycle of the universe. In ancient Akkadian days, this sign Aries was called that wherein the sacrifice of righteousness was made, or the sign of the fallen angels. Thirdly, we find the urge of resurrection. In Aries, which has seen the beginning of form life and which has initiated the creative work, there begins to be felt the urge to achieve freedom from the form, to roll away the stone from the door of the tomb of the soul, and to stand in the liberty of the sons of God. In Aries is found the impulse which leads to the building of the form which for ages will constitute the prison house of the soul. This reaches its mass form in Cancer and its human form in Leo. The densest point of illusion in form is reached in Scorpio, and in Pisces the form dies, only to be built again in the wearing round of form experience. But in this sign the way to liberation is first sensed, and the building of the spiritual body begin. It is the sign, therefore, of strong and potent impulses, and of violent fluctuations and exaggerated efforts, always of ultimate success. Keep these things down in your mind, and now look forward, far forward, and how this impulse in Aries you take with yourself to this journey, where it is now going to take us. Let us understand it that upon the cross we reach the freedom, even though it might indicate first the prison, but it is actually the alchemical metaphor how the freedom, the liberation is reached. Let us look now a little bit upon the labor of Hercules in Aries, the capture of the man-eating mares. So Hercules has to learn the right use of his mind, and the first thing that he has to do is to capture this feminine aspect of the mind and see to it that no more war horses are bred. Any would-be Hercules can easily prove that he possesses these devastating brood mares if for one entire day he pays close attention to his thoughts. This is very important now. Yes, if for one entire day he pays close attention to his thoughts and to the words he speaks, which are ever the result of thought, he will rapidly discover that selfishness, unkindness, love of gossip, and criticism constitute a large part of his thought content, and that the brood mares of his mind are constantly being fertilized by selfishness and illusion. We talk very important thing here, the key idea in Aries. Instead of these brood mares giving birth to ideas and concepts which have their origin in the kingdom of the soul, and instead of being fertilized from the spiritual realm, they become the parents of error, falseness, and cruelty, which have their origin in the lower aspects of man's nature. So, we have this amazing opportunity. When we look that chart, it is indicating us this whole structure. It is indicating us all that what we are supposed to be avoiding. In Aries, we have to avoid pride. It's this powerful divine impulse to go forth, to begin, and we have that at our hands at the moment. But we have to be careful that we are able to use, as it is said, Aries turns to Capricorn, that we are able to be on our knees, to go now with very, very humble, in a deep humility, and take these energies with us and listen, Gabriel, the Mercury, and follow the plan of the soul. Hercules the soul and Abderis the personality in unison were needed to guard these devastating horses. Abderis alone was not strong enough. They killed him. This is an instance of the working of the great law, that we pay the price in our own natures of wrongly spoken words and ill-judged actions. Again the soul, in the person of Hercules, had to deal with the problem of wrong thought, and only when he becomes a one-pointed aspirant in the sign Sagittarius, and in that sign kills the man-eating birds, does he really attain complete control of the thought processes of his nature. The practical significance of the power of thought has been well expressed for us in the words, sow a thought and reap an action. Sow an action and reap a habit. Sow a habit and reap character. Sow character and reap destiny. In the Brahmanic zodiac, Vedic zodiac, Vishnu presides over Aries. Vishnu is the second person of the Hindu Trimurti, or the cosmic Christ in incarnation, and he initiates the process of form-taking and ultimately brings about the final episode of resurrection. Thus Vishnu or Christ embodies the two urges, the urge to create and build form, and the urge to liberation or resurrection out of form. It is under this urge to liberation that Hercules starts upon his labor. So today, the full moon brings in a courageous push and a realignment towards higher vision in Vedic astrology. This full moon coincides with Hanuman Jayanti, the celebration of the birth of the monkey god, Lord Hanuman, whose strength, courage and devotion symbolize the triumph of Dharma in times of darkness. This is a full moon for stepping up for yourself and others. So let us send our blessings to the journey of Artemis, and also send forth your blessings towards the journey that we all are taking and starting. And for that we have this symbol of Hanuman, the first disciple, the faithful disciple, the loyal friend of the king. Also let us realize the full moon falls in the area of the sky called Hasta Nakshatra, which is symbolized by a hand. The golden hand is Savitr, a deity of the rising sun, reigns over this moon. This nakshatra supports action that require manual precision and dexterity, including drawing, writing, and healing arts. So hopefully you have your notebooks, and if you don't do anything else, just draw a symbol there. The hand also is the means of a blessing and service. We can take these with us when we are starting our travel. The sun, which is exalted in Aries, represents in Vedic tradition the Atma, the soul, and it is the symbol of righteous King Ram. Lord Hanuman is the greatest devotee who served Lord Ram and helped him defeat the demons that threatened Dharma in the Ramayana. This full moon is especially powerful for reconnecting with courage, devotion, discipline, and selfish service. Just contemplate that a second. In Egyptian tradition, it was the baboon who was treating the sun first. And the baboon, they were the guardians of the gate. This relates us with the energy of Sagittarius, the guardians of the gate, the ones whom is already trusted to have some secrets. And these secrets are related to the sun. Still, one thing we take with us is about the time that we are living. It is called the serpent time. If you remember from last month, in Vedic tradition, this is the area which is related to this kind of longer period until July, which is called Kalasarpa Yoga, the serpent of time. This alignment involves all visible planets and triggers key events in larger collective issues. Kalasarpa will continue intermittently until July, increasing the sense that humanity is moving through a significant karmic passage. So we have in our minds now the concept that we understand that during this Kalasarpa time, during the time of the serpent of time, we have amazing possibility to create. The serpents are, the nagas are the symbols of creation. In the very high sense, they are also the if we say entities of protection, like Vishnu here, or maybe he is Shiva. because both of them they have this serpent. Shiva has around his neck, indicating the Shakti quality, and then Vishnu is lying upon Vasuki, the serpent. So we keep that again in our minds, and we make a real uh, like we could make this kind of visualization that you, in this time and space, in this creative moment and magical moment, stick the pole on the time and space as the sign, the turning of the wheel. We look this situation around us. We have the power to turn the wheel. And this whole period we will now consider that we have in our minds the 3 full moons. Not only this full moon, but the 3 full moons. They create the concept of creating or taking advantage of these energies. They are the main full moon times for humanity at this time. Tibetan says, I would ask you to have clearly in your minds the 3 groups of spiritual energies which at the time of the 3 full moons of April, May and June will be released into activity and which will aid humanity in its major task of rebuilding the new and better world. So these forces are the forces of restoration, the forces of enlightenment, the forces of reconstruction. The forces of restoration, which is related to this full moon. This will work to restore moral and psychological health, thus implementing the resurrection of humanity from the death cycle through which it has been passing. The restoration of men's mental condition to a wholesome and happier approach to life is the primary objective. These forces will bring about the emergence of the new civilization, which is definitely man's creative work. And that is what we should be now keeping in our minds, that we are participating in that emergence of the new civilization. These forces might be regarded as embodying and making declarative the new materialism. This is a statement warranting our closest consideration. It is essential that we bear in mind as we face the activities of the future process of rebuilding that matter and substance and their fusion into living form are aspects of divinity. The call is going out from every ashram to all workers to close their ranks and to stand together in the closest comradeship of loyalty and understanding. The challenge is for them to subject themselves, and by that I mean their personalities, to a drastically applied self-discipline, to a purifying process, and to effect those reforms within their own nature which will make them more effective instruments in service. Let us turn towards the God within. The place where the will of God is known, and say, "Go within and know that I am God." And keep in your mind the chart of the full moon moment. Say, "I come forth, and from the plane of mind I roll." Aligning with the star of Sirius. The star that our solar system has very close connection. They hold an intimate psychic magnetic relation between each other. The hierarchy is controlled from Sirius. All the ashrams are subjected to its cyclic inflow. That is the great source where majority of humanity will finally go. Tibetan says, 2 things I seek to say to you. These are days of spiritual opportunity and of world crisis. The time of the full moon is the time to contact ashram. At the times of the full and new moons, all members of all ashrams meditate deeply in an invocative and evocative manners. Find union with the outer and the inner group. And we align with Master DK. Orient yourself towards him and have contact with him. We center the consciousness even deeper in the head, and thus also thinking about the Aries. Imagine yourself as retreating even more consciously within towards that point of contact where personality, soul, and the teacher in the inner world of souls can meet and become as one. Holding yourself as poised and steady as possible. Receiving that detached poise or as fully as may be during the following process, which is carried forward silently by the creative activity of the imagination. Align with Master DK's sacred place. We align with the Himalayas and have deep contact with the Tibetans' sacred place, which I think we all can have some sense. We have been already doing this meditation few years, and very quietly imagine and visualize yourself as standing before a golden or ivory door. And we feel the quality of that door. See that door slowly opening, revealing a long, low room with 3 windows. One looking east, one looking west, and one looking north. Seated before the eastern window on a low card chair but looking towards you, and therefore sitting with his back to the window, you may visualize your Tibetan brother in deep meditation, seeking to contact you and all for whom he is, as a teacher, responsible. Then picture yourself as advancing slowly up the long room, which is his study and workroom, and then standing before him. See also your group brother standing with you. Then each of you can constitute himself in imagination as spokesman for his group, and offer the group in service and deep consecration to the service of the plan. When you have accomplished this, imagine that you see Master DK rising from the chair. And then a group face the east, the direction of Master and the rising sun. And then we salute the great ones, the leaders of the 7 ashrams. And we will salute the masters. Salutations to the Master Morya. Salutations to Master Kutumi. Salutations to the Master Paul the Venusian. Salutations to Master Seraphis Bay. Salutations to Master Hilarion. Salutations to Master Jesus. Salutations to the unnamed seventh ray Johan. Salutations to the three great ones, the Bodhisattva, the Manu, and Mahachohan. Salutations to the three Buddhas of activity, Sananda, Sanaka, and Sanatana. Salutations to the three Lords of Liberation in Shambhala. Salutations to the Father in Shambhala, Sanat Kumara, the King of Kings. Salutations to the Christ, our eldest brother, Lord Maitreya. We have gathered in your name, Lord Maitreya. Be with us. And we welcome his living presence. still, facing the east. And we are going to say the great invocation together. Endeavor consciously to follow Master DK's lead as we say the words of great invocation. Listen with care and using your imagination. This involves intense concentration and the practice of intuition. Very, very happy full moon in Aries and very, very blessed holy time nearing the Easter resurrection day coming soon. Before we are going to end, let us still try to imagine about that heavenly realm and also this ancient description of Aries, how it is said that Aries is the sign of the fallen angels. And as you know that the fallen angels meant about the great huge angels who were descending from Sirius, those whom we are calling the solar angels. In Aries too, there is the heavenly message given, and during these powerful times like the full moon and new moon times are the ones that we are ought to align with the message what may be given to us, and I'm sure that this time it is given because it is this unique full moon for us. Tibetan says, the new incoming rays, energies and influences must surely be destined to produce equal effects, not only in the realm of physical phenomena, but also in the world of spiritual values. The atoms of the human brain are being awakened as never before. So just reflect, also being aware of that awakened brain, the atoms in the brain, and the sensitive attitude towards the Mercurian messaging area or states where Archangel Gabriel may have some message to the group. So we still reflect about the coming 2 full moons and this full moon in the labor of Hercules. He comes to show the way to humanity, to hierarchy. Aries is endings and beginnings. The contact with the Christ is done. In Christ everything is new. Of these 3 great streams of divine energy which will be set in motion at the 3 current full moons, one already passed or just now, and these 2 to come. The energy of restoration at the time of the April full moon in Aries, the energy of enlightenment at the time of the Vesak or May full moon in Taurus, and the energy of reconstruction at the time of the June full moon in Gemini. The inspiring source of these spiritual agencies are, first of all, the spirit of resurrection, an extraplanetary being, then the Lord of the world working through the Buddha, and finally the Christ himself. The spiritual resurrection, this extraplanetary being, is related to this full moon, and the Lord of the world working through the Buddha, or we can question now Is this the time where the change is happening to new group of world servers? But that is in Taurus, and then the Christ himself during the full moon of Gemini. These three will work through the hierarchy, through the new group of our servers, and through the men and women of goodwill. Such is the general plan proposed by those who stand with enlightened spiritual purpose, ready at this time to lead humanity out of darkness into light, from the unreal to the real, and from death to immortality. Dearest friends, we are still in the workroom of our beloved Master, Master DK, in the presence of the Christ. Let us give our gratitude in our own words to the Master. We complete our meditative work and we bow to the Master. And quietly we leave the room, but not turning back to the Master. And return to your own place. We give our gratitude to the Great White Brotherhood, to Father in Heaven, to Holy Spirit, all the inner workers and helpers, and the angels who were working with us, our group members who are on the other side and on this side, our brothers and sisters. With gratitude we close the meditation, but we will energetically continue and continue this following 2 days after the full moon. Thank you, dearest friends. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Good morning to Europe, or good night for a while. Maybe we go to sleep for a while and then Americas follow us when your time comes. But lots of love to everybody, many blessings, and we meet again soon. And very blessed Monday, Thursday. Today in the evening of European time we will have the communion meditation. Warmly welcome to that too. Thank you so much. Good night or good morning. I don't know which one I would be saying. It's dark and the full moon is looking through the window.
skies where the summer never dies. But my heart is in the mountains of my home. I can see the little homestead on the hill. I can hear the charming music of the river. There is nothing to compare with the love that once was there in that lonely little homestead on the hill. Churchyard down below, where the mountain breezes wander to and fro. And when God my soul shall keep, it is there I want to sleep, with those dear old folks that loved me long ago. I am dreaming of the mountains of my home, of the mountains where in childhood I would roam. I have dwelt 'neath southern skies where the summer never dies. But my heart is in the mountains of my